Hey, what's up guys, it's Sarah, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 tips for dealing with PNES. And for those of you who don't know, PNES is Psychogenic non-epileptic seizures. It's something that I have and I've been dealing with for years, and I thought I would share with you guys some of the tips that I've learned over the years how to deal with it. Number one, learn your triggers. This is super important. And I would suggest using a journal, or there's an app, I'm going to put a link in the description below, that you can use to track your seizures. And definitely write down when you had your seizure, how long it lasted, what happened before, so that you kind of get an idea of what your triggers are. And it may take a little bit of time, but once you learn what your triggers are, you can avoid them, or you can at least know what they are so that you can anticipate when you're going to have a seizure. And this is really important. It just really helps with everything. It helps know, okay, I might feel like I'm going to have a seizure after this. Or like for me, sometimes if I'm in a really crowded area and I've been walking for a really long time and I'm overstimulated, I can have a seizure then. So it really helps to know that, because I have to plan ahead of time and know, okay, I might have a seizure, so I need to make sure I, have a plan. Okay, number two, experiment. You got to try out different things to figure out what helps you. And I know it's hard because, the doctors aren't necessarily going to know what's going to help you. But try out all of it. Try out all the different things, meditation and naps and everything. Let me tell you about a couple things that I do. First of all, I do this thing called preventative naps, I've coined it. I don't do it all the time, but whenever I'm feeling really, really bad and I know I'm pretty much going to have a seizure, I go lay down and I either sleep or I bring my phone in there and I just lay down, watch videos or whatever, and just try to relax and calm my mind. And sometimes it, lessens the severity of the seizure. So if I wouldn't have gone in there and laid down, I might have had a seizure that lasted longer or was worse, And sometimes if I just lay down and take a nap, it prevents the seizure. So this is doesn't always prevent the seizure, but it helps. And obviously not everybody can do this, because not everybody is, not working or is single with no kids like me. So, but this is a method that I have used. Another method I've used is distracting myself. And this is for whenever you are just really stressed out. It's more of an anxiety thing, and you have lots of anxiety and you're thinking about a whole bunch of stuff, and you feel like you might have a seizure soon. So, this is something that I do whenever those things are going on, and I just try to, first of all, I try to ground myself and think about okay, what is around me, think about everything, feel everything, and just kind of calm down. Also, what really helps me is talking to someone. So I will ask someone, hey, talk to me, ask me questions, let's talk about politics, let's talk about anything that's really in depth, to try to distract me, So, this is something that helps me. Sometimes it kind of delays the seizure. On rare occasions, it prevents the seizure, but most of the time, if I'm trying to delay my seizure, I try this distraction method, and it really helps. Something crazy that I did once was my mom was out with me. We were shopping, and I was going to have a seizure, so I went to the car. And she was trying to get me home before I had them, And she's like, Sarah, let's sing a song. And she put a song on the radio, and we start singing it together. And I distracted myself enough to where I got home and I was able to make it to my bed before I start having seizures. Another thing that I do is I just go somewhere and sit down. If I'm out with friends or I'm out doing something. One place that I really get overstimulated and overwhelmed at is IKEA. And I don't know if you guys have been there or not, but it can get crazy on Saturday mornings. It's so crowded, there's so much stuff to look at. And twice now I've been there, and by the very end, when we're walking through the warehouse part, I had to be like, okay guys, I can't check out. I'm gonna go sit down on this bench over here. and I was able to like sit down. I felt my triggers coming on. So I sat down and I was able to relax and prevent a seizure. So, I think that sometimes, depending on what kind of seizures that you have, if you push yourself and deny your symptoms, then you're just gonna have a worse seizure and it's gonna be a lot worse for you. So yeah, it was pretty crazy. I haven't really tried the singing thing since my mom and I tried it that one time, but maybe that would work for you. Maybe if you feel like you're gonna have a seizure and it's due to anxiety, you can listen to some soothing music. There's this awesome channel on YouTube called Honest Guys. I'll link them down below, and I listen to them all the time to just calm down, or if I'm trying to go to sleep and I can't sleep, So definitely check that out. Okay, number 3, you need to have a plan, and this is really important. I kind of touched on it earlier, but when you're going out with friends and you're going to be going somewhere like a festival or the movies or whatever, you need to have a plan. Now, I don't really have to have a plan every time because I usually hang out with the same friends and they know, what to do. But definitely make sure that your family and your friends know what to do if you have a seizure. Make sure that even if you're going out with some acquaintances or work friends or something like that, make sure that they know not to call 911 unless you really, really hurt yourself falling. Because I can't tell you how many times I've been out and people didn't know what to do and I had a seizure and they called 911. And I went in the ambulance, and there's all the hospital bills and all the unnecessary stuff, and the EMT people, they can't even do anything for you most of the time. So, why go through all that when you could just tell them, hey, if I have a seizure, don't call 911, don't call an ambulance, just sit down with me, make sure I'm okay and everything, and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you have a plan and that your family and friends know what to do. Also, like, if you're going to be at a place like a festival or a concert or something like that, have an area set aside that you are going to go if you have a seizure, or that you feel like you're going to have a seizure. So, whether it's like a bench or an area that's like away, from everybody. And also, like, have a signal that you could tell people, like, hey, I think I'm going to have a seizure. Maybe just have a few words or something. You can text people or tell people, because one time I was going to the circus with my friends and I told them, like, hey, I'm not feeling well, and I just left. And they didn't know where I was. They didn't know where to find me. I didn't have any minutes on my phone, so thankfully it wasn't that big of a place so they were able to find me. But yeah, definitely make sure that you have a plan in place. So yeah. Okay. Number 4, don't downplay your symptoms. This is something that's like super important. Don't downplay your symptoms. If you downplay your symptoms, you not only put yourself in danger, but you make it so that nobody can help you. It's something that I used to do all the time. I'm like guilty of doing it now even, that I downplay my symptoms. So I'm like, my friend would be like, hey, how are you feeling? And I'll be like, oh, I'm fine, but I'm really not fine. And then whenever I have a seizure later, like, Sarah, you should have just told us, so it can be hard because you feel like you're being a burden on people, but you just gotta realize that you have to tell people if you're not feeling well, if you think you're gonna have a seizure, because ultimately they will know what to expect, know how to help you, and everything. Number 5, be social. Don't let your PNES ruin your social life. Don't let it take over. Don't let it, make it so that you're in all the time, that you never go out of your house. That kind of stuff can be really hurtful. It can be really bad for you. I know from experience. I know all of us have good days and bad days. We have days where we have lots of seizures. We might have days where we have no seizures. So take advantage of those good days. Go out and see your friends, go see your family, do things that you really want to do, in those times. And don't let your condition determine your life. if you have plans for a vacation, if you have plans to hang out with somebody, go to someone's birthday party, go by all means, you know. Even if you're having not the best day, maybe you can just attend part of it. Maybe you can do one activity a day on vacation versus the 2 or 3 that other people may be doing, you know, and you can still be part of what's going on. This is really important for your mental health and just to be encouraged. I have this best friend and she is amazing. She's fabulous. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't go out. I had a seizure today or something. She'll be like, come on, let's go. Let's go. You're going to get out of the house. You're going to go. And she takes me out of the house and we go hang out. And every time she does it, I'm so grateful because my mood changes, I feel better, you know, I get to do something and it just really helps my overall health and well-being. So definitely don't be a person who just stays inside all the time. Do what you can. And this one is sort of goes with the last one where I told you to get out. Of course, there's going to be those really bad days where you're in pain. You know, you're having a cluster of seizures. You may be having them for hours and hours. You know, your body is just completely exhausted. On those days, get your rest. Take naps. Definitely like rest your body. You know, take a bath or, you know, do something to ease your muscles by all means. Know your limits. So, for example, if you're having a really, really bad day and there's something going on, you have the option to say, you know what, I can't go. Knowing that if you have a good day, you'll be able to do something. So it's all a balance of, you know, knowing your body, knowing that, you know, maybe you have a cluster of seizures in the morning, but in the afternoon or evening, you're okay. You know, maybe if it's going all day, that can be really bad. But, you know, you gotta know what your limits are, how your seizures make you feel, and how you recover. That's a really important thing. How long does it take you to recover, mentally and physically? So if you know that, you know what you can do and what you can't do. That's something that's really important to know. Number 7, talk to someone. This is something that's really important because psychogenic seizures are something that has a little bit, or either a little or a lot of a psychological element to them. So you may be dealing with something. You may have PTSD. You may have, you know, feelings that you haven't dealt with or anything, and you may have like things that you're suppressing or things like that. I'm not a psychologist, so don't take me like that. But go see somebody who can help you through your problems, help you through your issues, help you gain coping skills to where you can deal with your stress a little bit better and learn how to live with your stress. All these unresolved issues can cause your seizures, make them worse, and make it so that you can not heal or not get any better. So 100%, everybody who has PNES, I would suggest talk to someone. It could be a counselor, it could be a therapist, a psychologist, you know, or if it's like a pastor or someone, but make sure that you find somebody that knows what PNES is, or at least is sympathetic to it, because if you get somebody who doesn't believe in PNES, doesn't know anything about it, or thinks that it's just, you know, hysteria or, you know, fake seizures or something like that, I would not go to them. So make sure you talk your issues out. And this is something that has really helped me, and I would suggest everybody who has PNES do it for sure. Another thing that you should do is talk to someone about your triggers, what's going on in your life, all your stress. I mean, that can really help. Like, you could help whenever you talk it out with somebody. You could help get over some things that have happened to you in the past. You can learn about your triggers, because if you actually talk about it with somebody, they can say, hey, what about this? Did you think about this? And you can think, oh, I didn't think about it that way, you know? And you can learn how to deal with with your triggers, your stress, and everything, it can just really help. I can't stress it enough. And get help for any mental health issues that you have. Also, if you have depression and anxiety, that really needs to be addressed to help your PNES. For me personally, when I would have lots of seizures, I would get really depressed. And then I would have anxiety that causes seizures. So it was this terrible cycle, and dealing with my depression and dealing with my anxiety is the number one thing that has helped me have less seizures. So, if you need to go on some medicine, you can do that. If you just want to use talk therapy and stuff like that, you could do that as well. But I know most people who have PNES deal with some sort of anxiety, deal with some sort of depression, because it really does affect your life. So, this is something that's sort of mandatory, that you have to get looked at. You have to deal with these things to move on and have less seizures. Number 8, find a good doctor. And this is one of the hardest things, because there's so many doctors out there that aren't educated about what PNES is. They don't know much about it, or they know the minimal amount. But if you get a doctor who's sympathetic and who is willing to treat you and willing to talk to you about these things, it's really important. Personally, I'm in between doctors. I haven't found a doctor that has been my go-to doctor or anything. So this is something that I have heard that really helps people. It's not an expert at PNES, but they can still be sympathetic and they can still help you through the process. So try to find one that has had patients before who's had it or knows about it. This also applies for therapists and psychologists. It really helps if you find somebody who knows about this disorder and either knows how to treat it or knows how to find the information. That is something that's really important, and something that is one of the harder things, especially if you don't live in a big city that has lots of different doctors. It's hard to find a doctor to really help you out and to really understand what's going on with you. Okay guys, number 9, find a support group. This is something that's really important. It really has helped me. Whenever you're first diagnosed, you may be wondering, what is this thing? How do I treat it? What has helped other people? You may have specific questions about, certain treatments, certain doctors, what has helped other people. So I'll leave some links in the description below, but find a support group on Facebook or any other support group site that you can go to. There's also some support groups in real life that you can go to. If you have a mental health facility, you can go to a anxiety support group, stuff like that. They usually aren't PNES exclusive or anything. They can help you with your depression and anxiety, so I would highly suggest it. But even if you have to just do online only, it really helps out because we ask each other questions, we try to find out what's going on, and sometimes we don't have all the information, but at least we come together as a community and support each other. Okay, so my last tip is do something that makes you happy. This is highly important. I talked about it in my what to do while waiting for disability video. You can click on that right here. But it's definitely something that it really helps. So if you're having a really bad day and you've had a lot of seizures and everything, doing something that makes you happy just relieves the stress. If you're a painter and if doing that helps you, do that. If you like to read, if you like to play with your dogs or with your kids or anything like that, just do something that makes you happy. Go outside in nature and, just soak up the goodness. So this is something that everybody needs to do to just stay sane, stay healthy. You have to have something to look forward to in life. So if you don't have anything to look forward to, if you have no hope, it can be devastating. And I've been there. Trust me, I've been there, where you're having seizures every day and you're like, this is hopeless. There's no hope. it could be really hard. It can be hard to like crawl your way out of that and just figure out what to do. But if you find something that you enjoy to do, it can at least distract you for a while, and it can help relieve your stress. Something that I'll add just as like a bonus tip is to appreciate your friends and family. Things for you to maybe giving you rides, they may be taking you to doctors and everything. Just show them some love and really let them know that you appreciate everything that they do. And my friends and family watching this, thank you for everything. Thank you for all the rides and all the, trips and everything, all the times that you took me out of the house. Just thank you so much. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you have any questions. What are some things that have helped you with your seizures? Let me know in the comments below. Is there any other topics that you want me to cover over PNES? Maybe like how to deal with not driving or something like that? Let me know down below. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye for now.